Marcus Mangham, how the hell are you, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good. Jesse, what's going on? Excuse me, Uncle Jesse, what's going on?
We always okay, me, honestly, I always say, man, it's good to see you. But now, man, it really is good to see people.
Hey, live. Yeah, everybody you forgot about. Hey, the janitor. Hey, man, I ain't seen you in a long time.
Yeah. And one thing I kind of noticed too is maybe 6 years, maybe 8 months ago, if we'd see somebody we hadn't seen in a while, and they had kind of like a fucked up haircut, like they hadn't cut their hair or they hadn't you'd give them shit, right? Like you'd be like, dude, go to a barber. What's going on? But now you're kind of used to seeing your friends with the COVID cuts.
Yeah, everybody walking around looking like Teen Wolf.
Yes, yeah. Everyone. It's okay to be a little unkept right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even on TV, I see that.
Yeah. So how you handling all this, man? I'm not gonna lie. I've had some ups and some downs and some anxiety riddled days. But I think for the most part, I'm pretty good right now. How you dealing with all this, man?
I've been cool. I guess I feel like I'm a lot better now, and it's not like I was ever just down in the dumps what I'm gonna do. It's just something that never happened before, and everybody acts like they're super informed. I'm like, nobody knows what the hell is going on. There's a conspiracy. It's aliens. Russia did it. The Chinese. I don't know what the hell's going on. So it just put a lot of doubt, and I was just wondering what the hell was going on. Looking around, you can't go outside anymore. When does that ever happen?
Yeah.
Adjusting to it. I think it was. I'll be honest. The first month, I don't know why. I just did not feel like writing anything. The creativity was not there. No matter what I tried, it just wasn't there. But then eventually, I guess, with mood and everything, adjusting, adapting, it slowly started coming back. I start writing a lot more, but other than that, I mean, you just go to work and come home. What can you do?
Yeah.
Eat inside of some church revival tent outside. That's about your only option.
Yeah. So you've been able to keep working throughout this whole thing, because I think that's what really got a lot of people too. Is some people it just the world stopped, they were unemployed, they couldn't go outside, they didn't know where the next check was coming from. Luckily, I never had to stop working.
Yeah. Yeah, I always had my other job. I've always been doing auto detailing ever since I lived here. I got my own shop called Caps Auto Detail. So I've always kept that. That kept me busy. It also kept me sane, just something to do and not just be in the house all day watching, CNN or Fox or people argue on TV. So it's kept my sanity. And, now that things are slowly opening back up a little bit, I've at least been able to do comedy shows outside and keep my sanity with the comedy and try to work out some of the rust. I did 20 minutes the other night, and I got 20 minutes, but I haven't did 20 minutes on stage in a long ass time. So I was definitely studying my ass off.
Was that at the Oak Park show, the show out in Oak Park?
No, that was actually, it was a private party I did in Natomas, me and Carlos Rodriguez.
All right. 20 minutes, huh?
Oh, wait, what's his name? Jordan Quittenbaum, is that his name?
Yeah, Jordan. Yeah. Q-Bomb Comedy. Yeah.
Yeah. He was the host for it.
Oh, nice. Yeah, he's a good dude. Always hustling. A lot of the promoters are just always hustling, man. You've got the hottest show in town, my man. What's going? I was talking to a friend of mine last night. We had gone to one of the Pink Martini shows together, so she knew what I was talking about, and I was like, man, what timing, what luck that you had just secured prior to the pandemic, a great venue with great outdoor seating, and who knew that down the road that was going to be what was going to be allowed for a while.
Yeah, I'll be honest, both of those things were just luck of the draw. Me getting that place, they asked me about it. And the outside shows, they just happen to have a patio. It just worked out that way. So I'm glad to have it. I'm not complaining at all, but it wasn't something by design. It just happened like that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's where some people say, oh, it's just luck, but it's just that you were in the right place at the right time and you knew what to do with what you had, you know? And
Yeah.
that's as a result of always grinding, right?
Yeah. Well, I guess, and then also, I guess they had asked me about comedy, and they heard about the Comedy Spot show, and they was like, "Well, can we do that here?" So, word of mouth, and just, making sure I was ready for it.
Yeah. I was looking at my Facebook memories just a minute ago, and a year ago tonight, we were at the Comedy Spot, and you gave me a guest spot, and it was Chris, Aurora, and Drew.
Oh yeah.
I think one other person. I can't remember, but I remember that was one of the first times you gave me a guest spot, and I think it might have been the second time. I don't know. You've always been really cool to me, man. I really appreciate that. But yeah, a year ago tonight, we were at the Comedy Spot doing the.
My girl just showed me that this morning. She said, "Oh, Jesse," I have to remind her on Facebook.
Yeah, it came up on mine just a little while ago, and I was scrolling through it. So let's talk about these shows at the Pink Martini. You've got one coming up on the 12th, another one the 26th, another one on September 16th, which is my birthday, by the way.
All right.
September 30th, October 14th, and October 28th. So it went from a once a month show to twice a month now?
Yeah, we when COVID, for the first show after COVID or whatever, we just gave it a trial run. And it went good. We were still working out the kinks or whatever. And then the next one went great. And then he was just like, "Can we keep this going?" And I'm like, I was kind of iffy because like it's a lot of shit you got to do before you can be like, "Yeah, I'm in," with like social distancing and making sure everything's right, because you don't want the place to get shut down. I don't want my name, trash. Like, "Oh, this is the hot spot for COVID." Like, hell no, this is the hot spot for laughter. Like, I don't want none of that. So yeah, it's worked out, man. It's been cool.
Yeah, it's great. I was talking to I got a chance to talk to Johnny Taylor the other night, and I asked him, I was like, "Hey man, how's that Pink Martini show?" And he's like, "Dude, it was fucking fire." He said he had a great time. Yeah, everyone's really liking it. For the show on the 6th, the show on the 12th, who do you have on that? You've got, is that Rico the Great?
No, that's the one that just passed. The one
okay.
Up is the one with D. Tyler, Pena, who else is it? Tony Roberts and Frankie Marcos.
Oh, okay, right on. And then you've got
a big one that's coming up next on the 12th.
Do you think you'll ever get to a point where you're gonna do like 2 shows in one night, like an early show and a late show? Have they thrown that idea at you yet, or have you thrown that idea out?
Well, they haven't. My girl has, but I don't know, because I mean, it's not a comedy club, so it's kind of weird. It's kind of hard to do a show at a restaurant because people with COVID, you can't sit people at the same table together, so it really lowers your capacity. And also, it's a restaurant, and people are just weird about it before COVID. Like, "Hey, these random people you don't know, do you mind sitting with them?" Like, the first time you go to a comedy club, you're like, "Hey, man, I don't know these people. Why do I have to sit with them?"
Yeah.
But I don't know. We've talked about it, but I don't know. Right now, it's just a lot, man. It's a lot for us to do, but it's also a lot for the restaurant staff-wise doing 2 shows. That's been the only issue. Because first I wanted to do a show on Sunday, like a brunch show, but just how much money he had to put in to run it for 2 staff, to do the first shift and second shift. He's just like, "I don't want to do it right now." So we've thought about it, but we're just trying to figure it out. Like everybody, we just adapting.
Yeah. That's great, man. What else have you been able to do to keep? Okay, so you said that I ran into the whole writer's block thing too. The first but I think I was like the first 2 months, like I couldn't, and I didn't even like I said, like I went through like a really bad depression. Like I know you've done the podcast before here at my house, where like I let the podcast kind of take over the whole corner of my living room. Like I really got tired of looking at my podcast equipment, so I put it all away, and then like I redid my whole living room, and because I couldn't bring myself to be this upbeat and cheery and like want to talk to people like for any period of time. So like, And like even when I tried to write, like I couldn't find like I I didn't feel like there was anything funny to write about. Is that what kind of like what you were getting at with your writer's block that you said you had the first month?
Yeah, I just it wasn't there, man. Like I'll be like, oh, I'm trying to be creative, but once I try to put pen to paper, it's like it's just not there, man. Like I don't know, mentally, like I guess it does something to you. You know, we don't have a proper environment or thinking pattern. I don't know. But yeah, I was the same way, man. It just wasn't there.
Do you think it's also something where like I get a lot of my ideas just 'cause like I'll go get a haircut and I'll pick up a conversation in the background, or you know I'm eating dinner at a restaurant and I'll see a couple and I'll see like the little nuances that they might be going through, like oh maybe they're having an argument or it's a first date, and like that kind of, do you think it was kind of like you weren't out and like you weren't like around stimuli, there wasn't stuff like stimulating you?
Yeah, it probably has a lot to do with, you know, just triggering thoughts, because I do that a lot. Like something will trigger me and then I'll think, yo, that's a joke. And I either got to put it in my phone, write it down, or I'll tell my girl, text me this, and then I'll know what I was thinking about earlier. Just
Oh,
to
that's
hear.
a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great. What so at the beginning of the pandemic, when I heard other comics on, because like I listened to like I listened to Joey Diaz, I listened to Greg Fitzsimmons, I listened to Robert Emoto, I listened to like all the podcasts, Bill Burr. A lot of folks were talking about that when when comedy starts back up again after the pandemic, that you better come with new material because like the old material is gonna feel kind of dated. Um,
Yeah.
you've started how many Pink Martini shows have you guys had now? Like 3, 4?
Yeah, we're coming up on our third one. We've had two.
Yeah. What is it? What has the material been like from the comics? Has it been like a mixture of new and old?
Yeah, it's kind of weird. Like I was thinking when I first did, I'm like, how do you do this? Like you just can't go out there and be like, hey, so how's it going? And just just admit everything that just happened and just act like nothing existed. So it forced me to write like jokes about COVID or what's going on. But yeah, every comic that I pretty much have seen has said something about what's going on. Like you can't just ignore it. You got everybody in front of you looking like Master Shredder with mask on. So you gotta
Is the audience super excited to be out at a comedy show again, or are they still like a little bit? Are they like kind of like looking around like in shock and awe a little bit still?
I'll be honest, it depends on where you at. I go to the Pink Martini, and that's probably to me, that's like the one time for an hour and a half, the things seem normal just for that one time. But then, like, I did the show last night, Drew Burks at Estes Park, and it was cool, but you could tell they were very skeptical. Like, it wasn't, not many people even took their mask off during the show. They had a plenty of space, but it wasn't that free flowing thing that I had at the Pink Martini. Like it was very like, hey man, get the hell away from me. I just want to laugh. I don't want to talk to people. So I don't know. It was kind of iffy. It just depends on where you at, man. Like it's different crowds everywhere. You got people that I don't give a damn how much data you give them. They don't believe in it. This shit is a hoax. And they'll do anything. They don't give a damn.
Yeah, I have a couple of friends like that. Yeah, yeah.
So it's a market for everything right now.
That's great. That's interesting. When when you first started back, okay, so like I know that putting on a show is stressful. Like just a regular show is stressful. How much more stressful was putting on a show during the time of COVID? Like how much more stress did that add to it? Or did you let like your girl handle some of that, or did you just rely on the Pink Martini staff? What was that like?
I would say a lot more meetings because it's not just me, it's the restaurant. So we both got to coordinate. He's got to make sure that he got everything done on his side, safety wise. I got to make sure everything's done on my side, safety wise. Like they don't have menus anymore. You just take a picture with your phone and it comes up. The menu, like it's a lot of stuff that had to be done. He had to retrain the staff on how to do everything to be safe about it. And then us making sure that the comics are safe and, wiping mics down and making sure we get the mic condoms and all kind of stuff. It's the evolution, but a lot of shit in the background that you have to do now. Yeah, I mean, it was already rough then, but now you got to make sure you're safe because your reputation, their reputation is on the line. So it's a lot. But at the same time, it's still fun because at least I got something to do at least twice a month. You can work out some comedy.
That's great. Have you gone to any of the outdoor open mics, the mics in the park and stuff like that?
I got to do one. I went to Joey C's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And it was on the back of a semi truck or something, but it was actually fun. Like he's got it set up with speakers and he had lights on it, and it's just in the middle of a big ass field, but it was actually fun.
Yeah, that's what I heard. Everybody that I talked to that went to that said that they had a ton of fun and that it was great. But not to take anything away from Joey C because he's a nice guy, but I think also like everyone was just fucking happy to be out and see each other too, you know?
Yeah, it was like I saw people running around with bikinis on. I'm like, wait, I thought this was an open mic. It's like it turned into Woodstock.
I think Joey was at Woodstock. Nah, he wasn't. I asked him. That was like the first thing I asked him. What do you? Everyone says like, okay, what are you missing the most? Are you missing just traveling or what?
Yeah, I'll be honest. I would at the time, but like you're so busy, but I do miss the road. Like I miss doing like a weekend in like Sunnyvale. That was but them trying to block the light. But like doing a show in Sunnyvale, like it's nothing much going on down there, but like it's a whole weekend. Like I did a weekend with Emo Phillips. And just getting the work in and the back-to-back shows, like that's how you grow when you do a weekend because you're doing a show at 7 and doing a 9. Whatever you messed up on at 7, you get to fix it at 9 o'clock, or you get to fix it Saturday, or you get to fix it Sunday. Like it's just back-to-back. By the time that weekend's over, like you feeling great. Like me doing a weekend in Vegas, like playing at Hollywood, you can tell me shit after that. I was like, man, I just did Vegas and I did 4 days.
I'm here, yeah.
Yeah. Well,
did you find?
Go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm going to cut you off. Did you find this being a good time to go back? Like say when you said you were having trouble writing, did you find this a good time to go back and listen to your old sets and rewatch stuff and rework stuff out, or like bring old stuff back?
Yeah, I did. I just had a day one day where I did it like. You know how you watch a cop show and they got the detective board? It's like this guy's linked to this and this. I did that with all of my notes. I put them out on the floor and just tried to like link certain jokes. What could trigger this? Maybe this joke could work with that joke in combination. Like just trying to do ideas. Like I got a lot of notes I went through. Hell, I did one set at Punchline, maybe a year and a half after. I totally forgot about the set I did. I got one joke in there. I'm like, I'm an idiot. That was a great joke. So I'm about to bring that back immediately. Like I had about 4-minute joke that I never told, but one time I went back. I'm like, do a little tweaking, go under the hood. I can fix this.
Wow, isn't that crazy how like we write so much that you could forget about? Because like you say that you had a 4-minute joke that you did a year and a half ago at Punchline that you completely forgot about. But there was like a point where like that was your baby. Like that's that's all you thought about for like that whole week leading up, right? Like if I say or if I stay silent for a second here, like you gave that so much care, and then you spit it out at a show and then you forgot about it.
Yeah. Like I remember when I first started, like I was so focused. I would write out what I had to say, and then I would do the audio version in my phone, and I would just replay it in my headphones while I was at work, my set, like word for word, just trying to remember it. Now I just keep reading, go over it, and sometimes I just figure it out on stage, because you never know what's gonna happen on stage. Like you might have it planned to go this way, but you might have to switch that shit up, because somebody might ruin it.
Or like you got your whole set like figured out, right? And you're backstage watching, and like the 2 comics before you do nothing but crowd work. So like by the time you get out there, like the crowd is just like they're just like salivating for another comic to freaking engage with, and you're like, I had no plan to do.
Or he just did 3 minutes on your whole set. Like, well, they don't want to talk about that more.
Oh,
Man,
exactly. Yeah. Have you been have you thought about how you're gonna not trying to give away any of your jokes, but you know, my favorite joke of yours, the Raider game experience.
Yeah.
So how did you feel that they kind of Raiders going to Oakland? Did you are the Raiders leaving Oakland and going to Las Vegas? Did you see that as like, damn, they're taking that away from me, or did you see that as like, shit, now I get to see the Vegas experience?
You know what? They're not even there yet. But when I was in Vegas, my last show, I said, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna try, and I did it. You know, in Vegas, it's nationwide. Like nobody's actually from Vegas at these shows. But the reputation was such of the Raiders that they fell out over that shit. So it worked. But as far as them moving, I mean, when it first happened, I'm like, fuck, they taking away a couple minutes of my joke.
Yeah.
But then at the same time, like, we're out here in Sacramento and in the Bay Area. They didn't forget about them. Like, I can just put it in past tense. Like, hell, I know why they moved. This had happened.
Yeah, yeah.
It's a way to figure it out, bring some shit back.
Yeah, I'm a Broncos fan, so like I like always grew up in fear of of those people. And like I remember I went to a Raider game at the LA Coliseum once, Raiders Broncos, and I was keeping my mouth shut. Like I didn't wear a hat. I wore like neutral colored clothing, and there was a Broncos fan like 5-6 rows ahead of us, and he was just raising all kinds of ruckus, and I was like, fuck, this guy's gonna get killed. And they were like going back and forth with them. They're like, shut up, and he would like throw back at them, no, you shut up. And then finally, like this Raider fan, like 2 rows in front of me, stood up and looked at me, pointed at me and said, hey, you need to shut your boy up or I'm throwing both of you guys out.
Yeah, it's looking crazy down there. I told my girl, you ever seen the movie Mad Max Fury Road?
Heck yeah.
All right, I told my girl, I said, in my joke, I said going to a Raiders game is like the set of Mad Max Fury Road. And it was on the other night. She had never seen the movie, and she saw the title, Mad Max Fury Road. She said, is that the movie you were talking about? I said, yeah, if you turn it on there right now, that's what a Raider game looked like.
Exactly.
She turned it on, and it was an exact scene of like 100 people chasing somebody with sticks, and I was like, this shit is amazing.
Yeah, and they got like the shoulder pads on, and they got like the mohawk.
Everybody looking like Road Warrior Animal and Hulk.
Yeah, man. Dude, that's another thing about the pandemic, man. It took away all the summer blockbusters that we thought we were going to get to see. Man, I was looking forward to Top Gun Maverick. And now
everything shut down.
Yeah.
Like they got the direct thing for a minute, but then they stopped doing that. Like the huge releases. Like I remember like the first week they put Invisible Man out, and that was supposed to be in theaters, and then after that I haven't seen much other than Trolls movies or something like that.
Yeah. They and even like when the Invisible Man came out, man, they were still charging $20 for it because I wanted to see it.
Yeah. I looked at it too. I'm like, I'm not paying that.
Exactly. I think I finally ended up watching it I think I finally paid like the $7, but I couldn't bring myself to pay the $20. But dude, when you go to the movies, you're spending like $50-$60 easily. Yeah. Like it was like if you're going with a couple, if you're going with the family,
Yeah.
But man, what do you think? So a lot of people say that some things are not going to go back to normal after this, that some things are going to kind of stay this way. And actually, like if I was a parent, I would kind of hope that the whole drive-by birthday parties still stayed in effect.
Yeah.
Instead of everybody coming to your house, I'm like,
that's definitely for me because my girl loves to throw a party. I'm like, why the hell are all these people always in the house, man? Drop your ass by and get the hell home.
Just drive by and drop off the gift, right?
Yeah, throw that shit out the window like a newspaper and keep it moving.
Did you go through when COVID first started? I went through the face mask phase of like I want like a cool fashionable face mask. versus like the doctor given face mask. But dude, those other face masks are fucking hard to breathe in.
Yeah, I think I was the opposite. I was just like, whatever. I just need to go in this store, and now I'm actually putting some thought into it. Hey, man, let me get a black mask because I don't like the paper ones. Like, they're cool, but I mean, they're flimsy or whatever. But I want something to be reusable. You get about two, and that thing turns brown. You look like Pigpen from Charlie Brown. You can only use it once.
Yeah, dude, I had the thing the other day where like I left my face mask on while I was driving. Like I put it on when I'm in the drive-through. And then like I'll be driving away, like I had the thing where like my own breath was like coming back at me, and I was like, "What the fuck smells in here?" Like, oh shit, dude, that's me.
Yeah, you put a mask on and some shades. You need defogger for the inside of your glasses. Like,
oh man, that's another thing. Yeah, you got to position it just right so that. But that's cool, man. When oh what. I had a question I wanted to ask you, now I forgot. Shit. What do you want to ask me?
What was that question you wanted to ask? Hell, I don't know.
Man, hey, have you been buying any records?
Not lately. I've been mostly I've been trying to get my sound system right. Like I keep it old school. Like I still got my amp and equalizer and all that. Like I love the quality of how it sounds, not just having a lot of stuff. So I've been nerding out and bought a new Yamaha amp and a new equalizer and just trying to get everything set up to have it perfect. Like basically, I kick it a lot of time. I treat the garage basically like my studio where I do a lot of writing or whatever. And I just honestly, I'm trying to slowly make it my utopia to write, to chill, to hang out. Like when I want to get the hell away and just have one room set up the way I want it.
Yes.
So basically, my man cave.
What?
My girl don't care about music the way I do, but hey, it makes me happy. That's what I want to listen to.
Exactly. So you say you're nerding out on your sound system. I know you got a turntable. Do you have a tape deck also?
I have a tape deck, and I have it's like a Numark where it switches from side to side where you do like blends and stuff. I'm a nerd when it comes to that. Like I grew up listening to a lot of like the mixtapes on the East Coast. DJs like Ron G, Clue, SNS, like deep into the underground hip hop. A lot of music that never came out.
Oh,
so
shit.
I get a lot of that stuff, like archiving books and stuff. So nobody breaking my house is mine. I'll kill you over my stuff.
And how are you getting like these? Okay, so because you grew up where you grew up in North Carolina again?
Yeah.
Okay, so you grew up in North Carolina, and it's like probably the early 2000s, right? And you said you're buying you that there, like people would drop mixtapes, and there'd be like underground DJ mixtapes. Like, how are you finding this old stuff? Are people like trading it on eBay? Are you buying actual cassettes?
No, back in the day, you had to actually be a nerd and put in the groundwork. Let me see. In North Carolina, like I would say, starting out, I got it from my uncle. They would always, we had a lot of family in New York, and they would get a lot of the stuff like Funk Master Flex, Red Alert, and they would send the tapes down to us, and we would be playing it for everybody to have it right off of Hot 97, commercials and all. Fuck it, we got the exclusive music.
Oh,
and
that's dope.
And then after that, it transitioned to DJs start doing mixtapes like DJ Clue, Ron G, and they would always have the exclusive music, and a lot of times they would get music that they weren't supposed to have because they got it from somebody, but they put it on a national platform. So I really got deep into that, and you would actually have to go to like mom and pop stores. Like I used to go to a place in Raleigh, North Carolina. That was about 2 hours away. It was called Mr. Freeze Records. And you could go in there and you could listen to a bunch of underground. For some reason, he had the connection. Every DJ in New York or every successful DJ on the East Coast would send their tapes to him, and that would be like the hub where you could buy tapes from. So you could go in there, and it had probably 15 tape machines. And you could say, I want to listen to Doo-Wop 17. He would grab the tape. You could listen to it, see if you wanted to buy it. And if you did, a tape was $10. I would go up there and I would probably, since it's so far, I would probably buy 9 tapes. I might buy Clue's last 3 tapes that he came out, a Ron G tape, and then I would just take a chance with some random person because you never know who might end up being a kick-ass DJ or just have that one blend or exclusive song that nobody else has. And then after that, I moved to Winston-Salem, and all the mixtape stores were in Greensboro. And that was near like A&T, the college campus. So I would drive down there maybe once every 3 weeks. At this one little store, this lady, for some reason, she had everything. You could buy Gucci shoes, you could buy the R. Kelly sex tape, you could buy mixtapes. She had everything in one store. Hell, one day she offered to sell me an Escalade. I was like, what the hell is going on?
She's like, oh man, I see you spinning a lot.
Yeah, I walked out with a soda and an Escalade one day.
Oh my gosh, that's hilarious.
But I would go down there and buy all the tapes or whatever, and I just was a music nerd. And for a minute, I'll be honest, I used to sell the tapes because everybody would ask me for them. So I bought a burner, a Harman Kardon burner, and I would just sell CDs for a long time, like in my job, because I was just a music nerd. And everybody was like, "Well, will you burn this? Make me this, make me that." Well, I'll sell it to you, like make it worth my while, because I don't want to just sit burning shit. Like I got my own life.
Yeah. Man, so, that's crazy.
Yeah, I got it.
I just recently, so I love music myself, right? And more rock, but like I think like if I were to like to look at my music bloodline, I think it's probably like 60% rock, like 10% R&B, and like 30% hip hop, right? But like I'm 48, right? So like I grew up at the same time that hip hop was growing up, right? Like Run DMC and the Beastie Boys and all those guys. So for me, like I love like East Coast hip hop more than like I love like West Coast. I mean, I'm not trying to start that whole thing, but like
I'm more lyrics. Like my girl, she's never paid attention. Like until I met you, I never really paid attention to lyrics because a lot of stuff on the East Coast she had never heard, and she was like, "But they're actually talking about something or whatever." And I'm not disparaging West Coast music; they're just more into the party. Let's have a good time.
Right?
On the East Coast, they're more into teaching somebody something or telling you what they've been through.
Exactly, it's more of a storytelling type thing, right? Yeah. And so I and then like growing up, I was also a Dodger fan, right? And like I'm always wearing baseball caps. Like I have like 1,000 Dodger hats, but like it's always been forbidden for me to be like a Yankee fan, right? But like the whole thing is that like I love Nas, I love Jay-Z, and like I like want to emulate these guys. So like when I see it, like Jay-Z said it, right? I make a Yankee hat more famous than the Yankees did. Like, so I guess what the point I'm trying to get to is like, I finally ordered myself a Yankee hat the other day.
Yeah.
And I know I'm going to get so much shit from my Dodger fan friends, but like, they don't get it, you know? Like, it's not about baseball. It's about hip hop. And like, New York is the birthplace of hip hop. And it's like, that's where the seed was planted, right?
Yeah. Matter of fact, give me 1 second, Jesse. I'm going to show you something. You might like this.
Oh, hell yeah. Now I'm excited. Not that I wasn't before.
Have you ever seen me wear this hat before?
Yeah. That's what I thought. That's what I assumed you were wearing right now.
Yeah, but you ever notice this? The Rock Nation logo?
Oh, shit. No.
Jay-Z put it out, and then a month later, they took it off shelves because they said they didn't have the licensing. So this hat is worth a lot, and I wear the shit out of it, which is a terrible idea. But I didn't know it was worth anything until I bought it.
Wow.
Because I wanted to buy another one, and I was like, why can't I find this hat? And then I looked it up, and it's like, nope, they took it off the shelf.
Yeah, it's so funny. I was talking to a friend of mine last night, and I was telling her about like a particular Dodger. Oh, I was telling her how like if I had to go to a Dodger game, and somebody was sitting like close to me with the exact same hat that I had, like I immediately had to go buy a different hat. Yeah. And she's like, aren't they all the same? And I'm like, oh, no.
Well, lady, you know to get a fight started.
Well, no, they are not the same. But
There's a difference between a new era hat and a gas station hat.
yeah, dude, I'm still upset that MLB let New Era put the New Era logo on the hat.
Yeah.
Like, I don't like that. Like I'm a purist. Like I don't mind the New Era inside the brim where like you can't see it. Like I know it's a New Era hat, but like I don't want to. I hate that I have to promote New Era now. Like it took the longest time for me to break down and go ahead and buy a New Era hat, and I still try to find hats that aren't New Era hats. But oh well, you got to go.
Yeah, because they're expensive.
The gas station hat. You can always tell the gas station hat too. Like the logo's just like, or like you see like a cool gas station hat, but like the logo's just like a little bit crooked.
Yeah. And it's the Stockton Kings, not Sacramento. You don't even notice till you get outside.
Yeah, he didn't pay.
Ain't a lion, a tiger.
Didn't pay attention to the finer details there. So, have you ever DJ'd a little bit? You said you got the stuff where you could mix it and fade it in and out. Have you ever messed around with it a little bit, or is that just too much?
Yeah, I mess around a little bit, and I used to really be into the blends, you know, with the acapella with a totally different beat behind it.
Yes.
Like I used to do that. I spent hours. Like I put together one CD that was probably, I think, 13 tracks. That thing probably took me 2 months, but it was probably one of my proudest moments because I was like, you know, listening to mixtapes all my life and putting it together and it not sounding like crap. Like I sent it to the right people before I was like, hey man, this is cool. Like, hey, what do you think about this? And it's like, if you didn't tell me, I would not know that you made this. Like I would have thought some DJ somewhere else made it. Like this DJ Clue exclusive. But yeah, I still mess around with it. Like I love music. If we have a house party and somebody's playing the music, and if they just doing a terrible job, I'll just be like, you know, fuck it, I'll do it. Like even if I don't feel like it, like you're messing up the vibe so bad, I'll just take my time off and take over. Like last barbecue, I couldn't take it. I was like, I'll do it. Just move.
Yeah, you're like, if you're not going to take this responsibility serious.
Like we're in charge of national security. Like, listen, this is a very serious thing. This is music. If you're not going to take this shit serious, get out of here.
Right, like you can't just go straight from like hard rap to like an R&B song. Like you got to transition it down. Like you can't, you know.
But yeah, and I think for them, it was just like content. Like you can't play 2 Live Crew when you got 47 kids running around. Like nobody wants to hear about ass and titties right now, man.
Not yet. It's way too early for that.
Yeah, man, I can't be explaining what dance booty in the pants mean, man. Get the hell on. Turn that on. Or eat the booty like grocery. A child right here.
I think a tape deck is the next thing I want to add to my sound system. I finally came up. I don't think I had the Marantz amp yet when you came over. I finally came up on a Marantz amp, and I got a Techniques turntable, and I want to add a dual cassette deck. That's gonna be next because like you said, there's so much cool collectible stuff on tape, and I wasn't even like touching like on the underground stuff that you're talking about. I'm talking about like the movie sound. Like the first one that I could think of like right off the top of my head is how like the Above the Rim soundtrack from the 90s, the cassette had like 3 extra songs on it that the CD didn't have, and 2 of the Tupac songs, you know? Mm-hmm. And like people don't even know that, and I'll be like, yeah, like this is the only thing you can get that on, you know?
WuTang was the opposite. They would put it on the CD where you get the secret music, the bonus stuff. And I'm like, man, it sucks. I got the tape. Why don't I have that song?
Yeah. That's right, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Did you watch?
They would do like 3 or 4 songs.
Did you watch the WuTang Made in America, the one that was on Hulu?
No, I watched the one that was on Showtime. I think I forgot what it was called. I watched that one, but I didn't watch the other.
Yeah, I started watching it, but it was too long. I really thought if it had been like a 2-hour movie, I was all in. But I wasn't when Wu-Tang came out. I was in a real music snob phase, and I didn't and then also like I go through this thing where like if everybody's listening to it, then I kind of try to avoid it, you know. And like when Wu-Tang came out, like everybody was buying, like that's all, like it was Wu-Tang stickers on every car, like Wu wear, and I was just like I stayed away from it. But like going back and listening to it, I'm like, God, this is so freaking good. Like
Yeah.
like
I was the same way though. Like when they first came out and everybody was just kept talking about it, I'm like, well, I don't want to listen to this shit. Like y'all just blowing it up and you're wearing your terrible looking t-shirts that you brought from the corner store. So it took me a long time. But when I finally sat down and listened to it, I was like, I can't deny this. Like it touched that first CD, it just touched my soul. And after that, I was locked in with Wu-Tang.
yeah, it just comes out and grabs you like. And it's still that good. Like you could play it right now, and like somebody who's never heard it, you'd be hard pressed to convince them that it's almost 30 years old. You know?
I don't think people appreciate RZA like with the beats and like the samples. Like he created, like it was done before, but he mastered the genre of sampling. Like to have the high pitched voice or how to do it. Like I don't think there would be a Kanye if it wasn't for RZA, because he got his style from RZA and he just took it to another direction. But that whole sampling thing, RZA killed that early.
That's a pretty deep analysis there of where Kanye came from. I love Kanye's music, man. Like, dude, like he's done stuff that's just like, especially like everything he did with Jay-Z. Just like all of that stuff is great, you know. The Watch the Throne album, oh my God, it's amazing, you know.
Yeah, I love him too. Like I don't know what the hell he's doing now. He just some random shit out. But like before, I would just listen to his album and zone out, and I'm like, just listening to it. Being a music nerd, I'm like, he's put so much work into these beats. Like it's so many things in the background, teams, being bop, but that you don't pay attention to. I'm like, this dude is a genius. And then he just flipped the script, and I'm like, what the hell's going on now? I'm like, fuck the music. I can't get past you being a clown. You're like Krusty the Clown every day now.
Yeah, poor guy, man. I hope he gets the help he needs, because he needs some kind of help, man. Man, Marcus, it's good catching up with you, man. And honestly, like I love seeing all my friends do good, but like you're such a hard worker, and you've always been a good guy to me. So like I really love seeing your success, and man, I can't wait for all of this to be done with, so you can keep grinding and you can go back to doing shows in Vegas like you were before, man.
Yeah, but like I told you, just when we did the show, and I didn't even really know you like that, but I just appreciate the grind, because I see a lot of these comics or at the comedy club, some of these people that are actually pretty good or have potential and they grind their ass off, they just get frustrated because they can't get an opportunity. Like I know when I first started, it was some people that I was better than. I know I got to put in work and build relationships, but I was just like, just give me an opportunity. Like give me 3 minutes just to show you I'm okay or there's potential on something big. Like you can do 100 open mics in front of your friends, but nobody gives a damn, like in front of an actual audience. So I saw that you were at every place that I was going, and it was me to be there, because, you know, like once you start getting more shows, you don't have time to go to mics all the damn time.
Yeah.
Everywhere I went, you were there, and I was like, I got to give this guy at least an opportunity, or at least to find out, do you want to do this? Because that's the one thing I learned.
Oh, I lost you. There you go.
That's the one thing I learned from Lance Woods was, if you want to do this, we gonna find out right now. I'm gonna put your ass on stage, and that's how you figure out. Like I talked to Mikey Winfield and I talked to Steph Sanders, and they all said we did the same thing. If somebody wanted to get on stage, fine, we'll get you on stage, but it's gonna be at the most uncomfortable time of your life. But we're gonna find out, do you want to do this?
Yeah, it's either flight or fight, right? Like, what are you gonna do when you're in the corner? Like, all right, I'm gonna make these motherfuckers laugh, like, you know. And then you find that corner in the crowd that laughed, and you work on them. Then you kind of slowly try to spread the laughter out, you know. And sometimes you got 5 minutes to do it, sometimes you got 20 minutes to do it, but we're gonna do it, right? Like this is what we do.
I know we're about to wrap up. I just want to tell you this real quick. I remember I opened up for Marshall Warfield, and I was maybe 6 months in the comedy. I was in Tommy T's, and I said, "How much time do you want me to do?" I had about 7 minutes. She said, "Can just do a light 12 to 15, and then get off stage." So I had to go up there and fill about 8 minutes on my own of just shit. Like I'm trying to play it cool in front of Marshall Warfield, but in my head I'm like, oh shit, I'm about to ruin my opportunity. But I pulled it off. I was doing shit out of my notes, whatever I could find. Yeah, we'll figure that joke out. I'm sure that set was awful, but I survived.
But is it moments like that where you learn crowd work, where like
it's moments like that where the build, yeah, you learn crowd work, you learn how to figure something out in front of people. Like if you forget something, they're still staring at you. Like you have to figure something out. They don't just turn your head like, hey, he's having a rough day. Like, wait, well, what are you gonna talk about next? They're always just what's next, what's next. So yeah, it builds you, and it just, like, I love doing little shows. I've done a few bars that were rowdy as fuck, and I know and Danielle's like, hey man, like I'm scared, like not saying like scared for real, but like I don't know how this is gonna work out. But I love to bring a crowd in and make them listen, because you have to do that sometime. Like you've been there bars and shit where people don't want to hear the comedy. But if you can make them listen, you're doing something. And that's what it is with these little things that you have to figure this shit out. It's nothing. That's why comics always say, you don't have to you'll figure it out on stage, and you need to just hit more mics. They always say hit stages, because anything will get thrown at you. I've had the weirdest shit happen to me on stage. I'm like, what the fuck happened? Like, I remember I had to go get a lady. You know how they give us the light or whatever?
Yeah,
they
yeah.
gave light. I was hosting at Rooster T. Feathers, and she would just kept going. And I actually went on stage, and I stood beside this lady, and she was like, what? I was like, you got to get the hell off stage. Like, what do you mean?
Yeah, some people just don't. I don't know that.
Like, why would the host just stand beside you during your set? Like, get off stage, lady.
Like, what do you want? Oh man. All right, Marcus, let's wrap it up, man. Hey, good luck to you. This coming up on the 12th and all these other nights, man. You're selling them all out. That's great, man. It's great. I'm so happy for you guys. I'll see anything you want to. I will plug all your social medias on here, so don't worry about trying to rattle them off real quick.
I won't remember.
Yeah, don't worry about trying to rattle them off real quick. I'll put them into the stream, and people will find them. And dude, your shows are selling out anyway, man.
I appreciate it. And just real quick, I just want to say I appreciate whoever listens to this that took time out of their schedule to hear what the hell I'm talking about. I appreciate it, because you have no reason to listen to me, and you are. So thank you. And Jesse, thank you for interviewing me, because hell, I didn't know where this comedy thing was going to take me, but it seems like it's doing pretty good. And I just want to tell you, man, keep it up. Just keep putting in the work, man. That shit matters.
I will. I promise you I will.
And don't let your ego before these shows trying to be cool, man. Practice your shit and get up there.
Right? Like, I don't need to look at my notes.
Yeah, I got this.
I got this.
Me and Paul Conyers is here. I'm going to hang out with him. No, focus on your shit. Paul Conyers ain't going to pay your smud bill.
Especially in August in Sacramento. Nobody wants to pay that bill. All right, Marcus. It was good talking to you, brother. I'll see you around.
Thank you, man.
Peace.
Peace.